City volunteers prepare to help residents affected by Typhoon Rai in the Philippines. City volunteers in Jordan distribute winter supplies for Bedouin families. Welcome to Dai Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. Typhoon Rai hit the Philippines in mid-December. It is initially estimated that 100,000 families on Bohol Island were affected. City volunteers visited Hobico town to assess damages. Because this town is close to the coast, more than 13,000 families have become homeless. After the disaster survey, the volunteers also visited government units and promised to help the residents. For now, we really need food and water. Drinking contaminated water is our option just to survive. We really need clean water now.
Following in footsteps of El Joy, we walk into the town of Tubigan on Bohol Island. The houses here are almost destroyed. More than 13,000 families have been affected.
We were evacuated to our nearby school during the typhoon, as advised by our barangay captain. Unfortunately, the school roof was also damaged by the strong wind. I was so scared since there were so many children who were with us, and I have my 8-month-old sibling with me.
They have lost everything, even their means of livelihood. Like the fishermen, they have lost their pump boats. We badly need now electricity, potable water. We badly need food items, of course, clothes, especially to those whose houses were inundated.
The villages near the sea were devastated after the typhoon. For more than a week, there was no water, electricity, or food. The residents are helpless and can only use cardboard to write down their wishes.
Help us. We really need help right now. We are very hungry and thirsty. We don't have food to eat and water to drink.
I could not even express the pain brought by the typhoon and how we could overcome this. My only wish is to have a shelter to stay and to protect us from the rain.
Tzu Chi Bohol Island became associated after a strong earthquake in 2013. Over the years, the care provided by volunteers have never stopped. After the disaster investigation, the volunteers visit the governor.
We almost estimate that 100,000 households on Bohol Island will be affected. Tzu Chi came to help us when the Bohol earthquake occurred in 2013. I hope that there will be another opportunity for Tzu Chi to reach out and help the affected residents on the island. We are really short of supplies.
At this point in time,
This year, even if the residents on Bohol Island could not spend the Christmas holiday safely, Tzu Chi volunteers promised to hold distribution before the new year after collecting the roster.
In the aftermath of tornadoes in the United States, Tzu Chi held its first distribution in Mayfield, Kentucky. The strength of survivors impressed volunteers. One affected resident lived in a big house, which was destroyed in a fire 2 years ago. They spent more than a year to rebuild a house, but when the house was just about to be completed, a tornado uprooted the house. Fortunately, they're not discouraged. They believe that with love, the home will be completed.
6-8 minutes before the tornado hit, I got in my car and drove about a mile up the road, up to the stop sign, the stop light up there, and basically just watched the tornado. But I knew it was definitely coming across our land, you know. I was pretty sure. I would have bet that it was hitting. It was heartbreaking to see it. I don't really know what to say about it. It was just awful. Whenever I first saw that it was gone, actually I knew that it was going to be gone before I even got here.
2 years ago this January, we had a house fire, and it took everything we owned. It went up real fast in the middle of the night. We lived through that. It was in the middle of the night. My husband single-handedly built me a little house of my dreams. And we didn't get a loan or anything. We just took all of our money and all of the last 2 years of his time and energy, and he built this house. And we were almost done with it. All it lacked was some interior walls.
All of our money, time, heart and soul, you know what I mean, went into the house.
But I guess this tornado was too much for it, but it completely took the house off of the foundation and threw it hundreds of yards back in a field.
Where is your house right now?
It's about 300 or 400 yards back there into stick-sized pieces, you know.
And there's nothing left again. So we're doing this for the second time, and now we're not sure. I'm sorry. I don't want my husband to have to spend the next 2 years of his life building again. And who can keep affording that, you know?
We'll rebuild. It's going to be tough, you know, because everything is gone, you know. Our whole neighborhood is gone, you know. Matter of fact, you know, it's crazy.
Even though this is a tragedy, we have learned that there are still great people out there. We had almost lost faith that there were. So since the tornado hit, we found all the good ones again. Maybe through all this, that's what we're supposed to learn. We still are a loving people, everybody, and we're here for each other. But we have found people overly nice, such as your organization. I would have never thought that help was out there, you know. But yes, we're very grateful for all the help and the warm blankets.
Yeah, I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
After the severe flood in Malaysia, we come to see the situation in Selangor. The flood water has just receded. City volunteers from Kuala Lumpur and Selangor hope to cooperate with the military for cleanup. In addition, charitable organizations in North Malaysia also supported each other. Other belongings were immersed in water, leaving the affected residents with helplessness.
All my things downstairs are gone. I'm really heartbroken.
This is Taman Sri Muda, Shah Alam in Selangor. The floodwater once reached the first floor, but now receded. The charity organization in North Malaysia immediately delivered hot food to cheer for everyone.
测没有啊？我们有吗？吃饱了吗？那多2包吧。多2包吗？可以可以。我有一个朋友，那时候我问他的时候，他的家。
I have a friend. When I called him, the water at his home was about to reach the roof. So I called him later. He said that his family has lost everything overnight. Our heart went out for land. So we hope that while they are busy with cleaning, they do not have to worry about what to cook for lunch. So we serve them with vegetarian meals.
怎么样煮？所以我们可以送上一个素食餐给他们。
几点就来到这边？
昨天3点多出发。
这样早起来会累吗？现在？
In fact, this activity is very meaningful. We don't feel tired as well, but no matter how tired we are, seeing them contribute like this to help each other, we hope to do our best to help, because we are all in one Malaysia.
After the disaster, some people helped prepare food for the affected residents, while some helped them to clean.
Because water has receded, so they need to hurry up to clean. Otherwise, it will be too late because lots of dirt has accumulated inside.
Back then, I was at home and was not afraid. But when we went out and saw it seemed like a tsunami or feeling it's really terrible, then I began to scare.
Because the local area was severely damaged, Tzu Chi will cooperate with the government to help the affected residents rebuild their homes.
We, Tzu Chi Foundation, need to mobilize volunteers to do post-disaster recovery, yet we lack some heavy machinery. So we got in touch with the Malaysian military asking for cooperation. We also asked them whether the military can participate in these cleanings with us.
The floods in Malaysia have gathered forces from all walks of life, hoping that the affected residents will return to normal life as soon as possible. A refugee couple from Afghanistan fled to Kuala Lumpur with their children 2 years ago. Although the couple are highly educated, they can't find good jobs when they're in a foreign land. Tzu Chi's Kuala Lumpur Selangor chapter found them a second-hand sewing machine, hoping to help them turn their lives around.
Over there, I was an engineer. I was a general manager in a organization, in an international organization.
2 years ago, Ahmed had a good life, but it changed suddenly. He then fled to Kuala Lumpur with his family of 4.
One day I was a big man, but today I'm nothing. I'm just waiting. Who can give me some food? Can you feel? No, you cannot. Just I can feel.
Although he is well educated, his refugee status is not recognized by the Malaysian government. The sudden changes in life, coupled with the associated pressure, made his wife Asita suffer from panic and depression. After learning about their situation, the clinical psychologist of the Tzu Chi Free Clinic found them a sewing machine so that they can be self-reliant.
Because all our refugees need to earn money to make ends meet, the second-hand sewing machine can at least help them to do some tailoring work at home.
Thank you for giving us this second-hand sewing machine. I will do whatever, bed sheets, clothes, everything.
With the sewing machine, the couple can finally improve their lives through tailoring.
It was really hard, but I learned because we were forced.
This is made by your wife or you?
Together.
Together,
yeah. Because my wife is cutting, I'm stitching. My wife found this, and she hoped to make this for selling to the refugees people.
With determination and a suitable machine, it is hoped that the couple can start a new life in a foreign country.
In Jordan, city volunteers have provided care for Bedouin nomads for 21 years. This winter, they travel for hundreds of miles to distribute supplies to help residents in need. New shoes and warm jackets were also given to the children.
With a low temperature of 10 degrees Celsius, the children's clothes are thin, the shoes on their feet are warm, or even barefoot. Now they put on brand new warm jackets, new shoes that fit them, and the smiles are over their faces.
The children here have a very hard life, and we help them put on shoes and jackets. They're as happy as a fountain, and also get more happiness.
Children who are satisfied listen carefully to Jing's aphorism shared by volunteers.
You can save a penny. Just put a penny in a bamboo coin bank and give it to people in need. It can also do good deeds. As long as you save this penny, you will become a super person because you have helped the poor.
For 21 years, Jordanian Tzu Chi volunteers travel to Al Abasi and Al Sakala to care for Bedouin nomads. Even if there is no address, when the table is set and flag is placed, you can always find each other in desert.
I'm very grateful to the volunteers for sending the supplies because this area is very remote. The Social Affairs Bureau and the Hashmi organization fight it hard to provide care for us. I wish you all safety and happiness.
The volunteers bought 50 kilograms of flour to our residents this time, making this winter be a warm season for them.
The pandemic really affected the lives of migrant workers at the Orchard Farm in Phan County, Chiang Mai, Thailand. Thus, a distribution was held at the Chiang Mai Tzu Chi school to help these migrant workers.
It takes a lot of efforts to prepare supplies for a distribution for 586 families. There are eggs, cooking oil, rice, and everything is heavy. So they have to distribute them evenly on every car.
We'll divide ourselves into 3 teams. The first team checks their names against a name list. The second team hands out the goods, and the third team prepares the goods.
It is a holiday time, and the universities are also on the winter break, so the alumni who return home also come to help with the distribution.
This week is a holiday time and also a winter break for colleges, so I have this chance to help with the distribution. I'm happy to do it and to see the smiles on the migrant workers' faces.
These migrant workers working in the orange farm in Phan County are not Thai citizens, so they cannot receive enough support. This distribution by the Chiang Mai Tzu Chi school is also able to help their children.
This distribution is full of touching scenes because I see the smiles from givers and recipients.
The principal goes on stage to read a letter from Master Zhen Yan. Everyone puts their hands together and blesses each other sincerely.
Tzu Chi Senior High School held a vegetarian cooking competition to encourage students to cook vegetarian food. The final was based on foreign cuisine. Participants started to cook after being tested on their knowledge of the ingredients and cooking skills.
Every participant was ready to show their cooking skills, yet they have to pass this challenge before the competition started. Tzu Chi Senior High School held a vegetarian cooking competition. Participants have to draw out a topic of a foreign dish and do it within a limited period of time.
I have to be quick, otherwise I won't have enough time.
Participants were not only familiar with the ways of cooking, but also made good use of the ingredients.
We even made good use of the vegetable scraps and cut it into small pieces, stir-fried it with oil and added it to the soup. This soup will then be sweeter and its taste can be kept.
Vegetarian food is really the most natural ingredients in the world. Let's cook it diligently.
Through the cooking competition, more people will know more about the deliciousness of vegetarian food.
I participated in this competition voluntarily. Only a few students in our class are vegetarian, and as I am vegetarian, I just want to help, and I also know how to cook vegetarian dishes.
What touches me most is that students take the master word of promoting vegetarianism into action. Not only do they go vegetarian, but also promote vegetarianism and even cook vegetarian food by themselves.
The foreign dishes produced look great, showing students' dedication in promoting vegetarian food.
Research has found that people with mental disabilities are more likely to be discriminated against. They suffer from long-term mental stress. Once they lack proper medication, they may get acute disease and cause social problems. On the other hand, if they take medications on time and are in stable conditions, they can work and also contribute to society. Today, we're going to see how the mentally impaired patients changed the stereotype of the public during the pandemic.
In early morning, Ah Yuan and his friend with mental disorder were already worried about the lunch dishes. Ah Yuan is not only responsible for buying ingredients, he also serves as an ambassador to send out loving meal coupons.
Associate Professor Zhang Ci of Fudan University has donated 30,000 NT dollars to the Association of Mental Disorder because she is worried that some disadvantaged groups like us will be impacted by the pandemic. So we have designed a set of stimulus vouchers worth of 50 NT dollars. Here is 150 NT dollars in total, which is enough for 2 meals. I have once suffered from hunger before, so I think it is important to give people food to eat.
It's really great for him to be able to give back to society.
I don't feel stressed coming here to work. I'm responsible for cutting, washing, and cooking vegetables. I treat it as a kind of rehabilitation.
In the past, people with mental disorder might be more passive in some other institutions, which means they were introduced and did whatever told by social workers. But what is different in the office here is that we will do it together with them, trying to develop what they can do.
In fact, people with mental disorder can do more than they thought. This is also the matter that social workers and doctors would like to teach them. Psychologist Zhou used to be a university instructor.
There are some deviant behaviors in students' minds. I want to understand more, so I applied for a job in the Counseling Psychology Institute. During this period of serving in the mental health department, I recorded some labeling and stigmatization of patients, as well as my feeling bit by bit, and wrote these books in the hopes to speak up for them.
One's gentle smile and a little care may help patients with mental disorders to take a step forward towards their illness.
右脚先，好，慢慢上来，哦，很好。精神障碍的
For residents with mental disorders, in fact, their rank in society is not high, so both of us want to help them with our abilities.
Husband and wife worked in the same unit serving patients with mental disorders for 17 years. From work partners to parents of 2 children, the couple also practiced their clinical experience in their family.
While patients are learning from us, we are also learning from the patients because we have 2 kids and we are serving psychiatrist patients. We need to have a lot of patience and care, so when we go back home, we use the same way to raise our kids.
Except for the acute onset period, most of the patients with mental disorder are actually friendly and peaceful. Their workability and artistic performance are similar to ordinary people as well. These colorful paintings are all drawn from the patients with mental disorder. This is the Community Rehabilitation Center of Kaishuan Hospital. You see some mental disorder friends are making handicrafts here. People can come to visit and shop. The world in the eyes of the mentally disadvantaged may be different from ours, but it has never lost the instincts of human beings, loving others and being loved.
The government policy does not exclude mental disorder patients, but people will reject them. So indeed, in our society, our care for the disadvantaged groups or equal attitude on human rights is not enough.
Getting along with the mentally impaired can actually allow us to learn the true meaning of love.
In Canada, Tzu Chi volunteers have overcome difficulties to prepare winter supplies as Christmas gifts for the needy. They hope the people who receive these gifts will feel warm despite a harsh winter. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.